on their previous series.
One of Daly's new teammates there, Colton Clausen, on the return, a guy that was an absolute stud for the Huskies last year. And maybe Daly saw something coming because the Huskies captured the Hardy Cup, and it looked like we're going to have a chance to get to the Vanier Cup in a tough battle with the Western Mustangs. But Clausen, a guy that was Mr. Everything for Saskatchewan, has been their primary tailback. Last year as a receiver was their number one go-to guy, especially when Sam Baker went down, who is now back healthy and out on the field, number 10 on your screen there at the bottom. So a couple dynamite Huskies.
Sinagra play action, looking for a quick hitch seam to Brenton Hall. That goes in and out of the Laurier receiver's hands, incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10, and that was a shocker in that Hardy Cup. I know you called it, that everybody thought Calgary was en route to face Western, and they were upset. Sinagra not having one of his best days in that playoff. Here he is back on 2nd and 10, throwing deep downfield. There's contact. No flags. Brenton Hall goes down, and the ball hits the turf incomplete, forcing the West into a punting situation.
Well, Mark Surya, the West offensive coordinator, knows Brenton Hall well, recruited him to go to Wilfrid Laurier University, and we see on back-to-back plays trying to get the football in his hands, a special athlete and playmaker. And on this 2nd down and long situation, Sinagra with a quick set and letting it go, one-on-one coverage, and normally Brenton Hall able to come down with balls like that, but it did look like, and yes, it's coming from a quarterback, but that there was some contact on the play.
Jaden White Frayne of Acadia backing to his own 34-yard line, tries to go up the far sideline, and he is taken down by Dion Pellerin of Waterloo for a short return on a towering punt by Nico DeFonte of the Calgary Dinos.
That kid has a boot of a leg on him, and you've seen it in the past with what he's done, and we'll show you some of the video later, but he can punt, he can kick, might be a guy that can do all three, and kickoffs would be the 3rd at the pro level.
I mean, anything inside the 60 when it comes to field goals, he seems to have. First down East at their 48-yard line. Clay Sequeira of the Toronto Varsity Blues with time, throws an arrow across the middle. It's complete to Nathan Walker of Bishop's University for a first down and a gain of about 15 yards.
That's much better from Sequeira. Looked calm in the pocket. I felt like, especially on a couple of those early scrambles where he got out of the pocket, it was a little too early. Looked calm there, stepped into that throw, found Walker across the middle, because what you're going to have to be able to do to be ultra productive in an all-star at the U Sports level is win from the pocket first, and same goes from the pro level. You can use that athleticism if you absolutely need it, but winning from the pocket, very key.
Sequeira handing off, and it's Tremblay Arnois spinning off a couple of tackles for a gain of about 6 on the play.
There you see, you get Arnois, the little hydrant, bit of space there, and he can break off a quick gain, 2nd and medium situation. And Sequeira seems to be settling in a little bit here, and his quarter seems like it's going by pretty quick. He's probably thinking, I want to get some points on the board. This could be his last drive.
Tremblay Arnois, an electrical engineering student at Sherbrooke. 2nd and a little less than 5 for the East. Sequeira, play action, rolling to his right to the short side. It's complete to Cordell Hastings of Acadia, and he takes a licking, but he moves the yardsticks. Check that. Was that the fullback, Liam O'Brien?
That's right.
May have made the catch there. Yes, indeed. It was O'Brien, the fullback.
Big target there off play action. A corner route over the top, and then O'Brien leaks out underneath, and Sequeira gets it to him quickly. Good completion for the first down, but how about Bleska Kabamba? Undersized on that play, but lighten up O'Brien a little bit.
Big hit. First down. Pressure. Sequeira's going to run, and he's caught by the shoestring on the tackle by Justice Momoka of Alberta. And a gain of about 4 on the play. 2nd and 6. Nathan Walker coming in, and the fullback Liam O'Brien from St. Mary's coming out. Final 2 minutes of this opening quarter at MNP Park in Ottawa. 7-0 the West, scoring on their opening drive of this football game. 2nd and 6. East under pressure again. Sequeira gets the ball away. It's incomplete and underthrown, broken up by Nolan Putt of McMaster, intended for Trey Kellogg of the UBC Thunderbirds.
Putt just reading that route, saw the slant coming, jumped it. It was almost like he was a receiver instead of Kellogg on the play. Nearly another interception for Sequeira.
Nolan Putt playing with his MAC teammate Noah Hallett in the secondary for the West here today. The two of them each with a couple of interceptions last year for the Marauders. We'll have a new head coach this year as Steph
Old and new.
Bassick returns. Old and new.
First down. The East from the 33. Arvidic at the 28.
They've been contacting the receiver on that play as the officials will spot the ball inside the 30-yard line. First down for the East is Hallett and Kellogg had some contact. There's Sequeira throwing it up deep for Iguavo, and jump ball, and Kabamba breaks it up the Mustard Mustang boundary corner as Sequeira looked to the end zone to the Golden Hawk receiver.
Sequeira knew he had a free play there. The West, most of the defensive line jumped offside, and Sequeira immediately goes to where he knew he had a deep shot with Iguavan down the seam. But as you mentioned, Mark, Kabamba, great vision, able to turn, locate the football, and knock it down. And yes, it's going to be 1st and 5, but at least there wasn't a touchdown off of the free play.
1st and 5, the offside call against the West. Ball at the 23 of the West. Sequeira showing his poise, his throwing ability, handing off to the pint-sized Sherbrooke running back, Tremblay Arnois, straight up the middle. And he'll be close to the 20-yard line, about 2 yards shy of the first down. 2nd and 2, and they bring in the big man, Liam O'Brien from St. Mary's on this short yardage situation.
Aaron Chabelo made the tackle on the play there from Alberta. That could have been a much bigger gain for the East.
Clay Sequeira with his best looking drive of this football game. He'll stay on the ground, and Tremblay Arnois will plunge ahead for the East first down. So they're inside the red zone. The East trying to get on the scoreboard as time ticks away here at the end of the opening quarter. And Clay Sequeira has used his legs. He's used that fluid passing motion. Very live passing arm. And you got to think that the Toronto Varsity Blues are pretty excited about this young quarterback with 2 more years of eligibility.
That's right. They probably haven't had a pivot like that in some time, with the ability and the pedigree that he's had, as you said, going to prep school in the United States, and a guy that seems to have all the tools to be great.
First down in the red zone. Sequeira pumps. Now he avoids the rush from Daly. Got some time, throws across the middle. It's complete right near the goal line. And a big catch by Trey Kellogg, the UBC Thunderbird. And they'll spot this right near the 1. Now the officials are going to congregate and have a discussion. Was he inside the goal line when he made the catch, or just outside?
And Kellogg with that big body shielding defenders to make a catch in traffic, no fear. A guy that actually spent 1 practice on the West squad, got flipped over, and a playmaker already making his mark for the East.
Another example of Sequeira using his legs to buy himself some time, and he finds young Trey Kellogg, who was the number 3 receiver in the Thunderbird offense last year with 287 yards in receiving. Of course, Trevell Pinto, the number 1 receiver at UBC last year with 916 yards. So they'll spot this at the 1-yard line.
And Kellogg, of course, we mentioned it earlier, but after he made the catch, his dad, you know well, Mark, you called his games.
Yeah, he played the late 90s, early 2000s. What a baller on defense. 21 interceptions for the Stampeders, 3 returned for touchdowns. He had 2 pick sixes when he played in Edmonton. He was one of the best defensive backs in the CFL
And there, if you can believe it, was Trey at a very young age, kicking the ball around with his dad in warm-ups, obviously much bigger now and making plays like his dad on the football field.
Corey Philpott, who was a great running back in the West for the BC Lions, has got a couple of twin boys tearing it up at receiver for Calgary.
That's right. Adam Sinagra pretty happy with those two to pass the ball to.
First and goal from the 1 for the East. Tremblay Arnaud in the backfield. He'll get the call, and he'll bulldoze his way into the end zone for a touchdown. William Tremblay Arnaud of Sherbrooke has hit pay dirt for the East here in Ottawa.
Spins into the end zone there, showing you some of his athleticism. Yes, he's stoutly built and strong and cut up and all that stuff, but you still got to be able to have some wiggle at the running back position. Shows that he was listening to his coach throughout the week, Nick Lewis, who found the end zone plenty of times in his CFL career, is a great receiver.
Point after from Kieran Burnham of St. FX. Ball is out, up, and good. That was a shot snap.
Get another look at the touchdown run. Check out that spin move and getting into the end zone for 6.
Kind of reminds me of Mike Pringle back in the day.
Low to the ground, center of gravity.
He's tough to stop. We were watching him in some of the drills at practice this week, and I mean his legs are just so powerful. Great explosive ability, and so he's got this game tied at 7. The East and West as we move into the second quarter of this East-West Bowl in Ottawa.
And we're going to see some new quarterbacks at the controls. First, for the West side, we're going to get a look at the Calgary kid who somehow got out of Calgary and is now starting for the Manitoba Bisons, Des Catelier.
And another Calgary kid, old high school rivalries, Hunter Gennard from Acadia.
He'll be in for the West side when they get the football back. Catelier gets the first crack at it and really taking over that Bison's leadership role.
Colton Klassen from his old goal line for the West. A burst of speed, gets a seam, and then is quickly hog-tied by the free safety, Jordan Angove of St. Mary's University.
Touchdown saving tackle there from Angove. It looked like Klassen had a lane and some speed and was going to go all the way to the end zone, but that shoelace tackle denies him.
First down for the West. And a change at quarterback, Des Catelier of the Manitoba Bisons at the helm. Catelier will hand off, and it's Caden Johnson, the high-stepping, hard-rushing back who has a gain of 10, maybe 11.
Flag down on the play. If I had to guess, it looks like maybe the receivers in motion for the West were offside. That looks like indeed what it's going to be.
It's coming back. That was a good-looking play.
It was. Caden Johnson is an absolute load coming through the hole.
Two-sport athlete out of York University, Caden Johnson. Sprinter, hurdler, and making his presence felt on that carry in the backfield for the West. First and 15 for the West. Here comes pressure. Play action. The ball is away. It's complete for a very short gain.
Brenton Hall had it, but then actually dropped it.
Yep.
Would had about a 5-yard gain there. Looked like he was trying to run before he securely had the football.
Second and 15. The West backed up at their own 24. There's an injured East player taking a knee right now.
Looks like Marc-Antoine Decoy.
Boy, he may be one of the best defensive players on the field. So they'll address the medical concerns of Marc-Antoine Decoy, and we'll take a break here in Ottawa. 7-7 East-West. Early second quarter of this 2019 East-West Bowl. Des Catelier, a bobbled snap. He picks up the ball. He's got room to run, and he will. Heading up the far sideline, the Manitoba quarterback finally wrestled at about the 35-yard line.
Catelier forced to run for a gain of a couple.
They'll be short of the first down, and this will be a punting situation for the West.
Looked like Daniel Bassambombo, the Laval linebacker there that wrangled Catelier. It looked like he was going to go out of bounds, saw he was short of the sticks and tried to cut back inside, but Bassambombo kept a hold of him short of that first down.
Nico DeFonte back to punt for the West, standing at his own 20-yard line. Nice spy-rolling deep punt. Picked up by Nathan Walker of Bishops. He runs into traffic. There's a flag on the play. Walker with little room to negotiate that return, but great field position for the East, and Hunter Gennard, who makes his first appearance at quarterback in this football game.
That's right, an interesting quarterback prospect out of Acadia, has a familiar connection on the offense with Cordell Hastings. Both players played at the same high school in Calgary, and they were actually in different years in terms of recruiting, but now they're lined up because Gennard had a redshirt year in his first year out east. Look for that combo to potentially do some damage.
Still trying to sort out this flag as the officials confer. And it's against the East. The flag was well back of the play.
That's right. There was another flag on the near sideline as well that could have been for an illegal block. I would imagine that's why it's going backwards.
So Hunter Gennard and the East will scrimmage first down at their own 36. Gennard, the AUS passing leader last year, getting his first taste of competition outside the Atlantic Conference. He'll throw a hitch screen to the backside, and that's going nowhere. Marc-Antoine Pivin of Laval Rouge-et-Or makes the catch and then was swarmed right at the line of scrimmage. Second and 10. Gennard facing a blitz. Gets away, now throws the ball to the sideline. It's complete to Walker. And Walker takes a big hit from Bleska Kambamba of Western. And a big stand for the West as they force the East into a punting situation.
You might look at Kambamba and feel like he's undersized, but man, does he ever come downhill in a hurry.
Let's go to the sidelines. Here's Marshall Ferguson.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Marc-Antoine Duquois down here, the University of Montreal defensive back. You just saw come off, and I walked over and asked him, "Hey, you feeling okay?" And he started laughing. He said, "Yeah, Charlie Horse, I got kneed right in the side of the leg." So he'll be back out there for Team East coming up. I talked to Danny Machocha a couple of days ago about what he was able to do.
Deep punt taken by Klassen, and another flag on the far sideline as Klassen returns it across the 35-yard line to the 37 for the West.
Lots of flags on these punt exchanges, Mark. Back and forth. No yards, illegal blocks.
It's holding against the East. First down, West, as they move the ball 10 yards to the 46-yard line. Des Catelier of the Manitoba Bisons in his second series at quarterback. Catelier, one of two Calgary High School products. We've talked about that in this broadcast in this football game. Along with Hunter Gennard, who's getting his second quarter start.
Both familiar with the Dave Dickinson passing camp. Good guy to learn from. Bo Levi Mitchell, too, has been there.
You know, they were talking about the time they spent in the Winners learning from the likes of Dickinson, Bo Levi Mitchell, some of the Stampeder wide receivers. Been a great experience for Coutelier. Handing off up the gut for a short gain. And it's Jake Puskis, the Queens punishing running back with a carry of 5. The Thunder Bay native who loves contact, loves to run between the tackles.
Better start there for Coutelier compared to the last offensive series where it was 1st and 15, 2nd and medium here.
2nd and a little more than 5. Play action. Backside hitch is complete to Macho Bakru. He'll scatter upfield to about the 50 for a first down and a gain of 10.
That familiar Manitoba Bison to Bison connection, Coutelier to Bakru on a little bit of a just screenplay there and gets enough for the first down, but I would imagine we're going to see some deep shots taken. Those two really have been on the same page and been that number one connection for the Bisons.
Coutelier coming to the sidelines, having words with Michael Faulds, the head coach of the Laurier Golden Hawks, as we take a look at that nice 10-yard pickup.
That's right, and you can see at the end of the play there for the East, number 56, Michael Badra gets tangled up with Bakru. He's down on the field being tended to by the trainers.
Badra, the Sherbrooke rush end, comes out, and Vince Viau-Duval of Carleton into the lineup as the Ravens training staff checks on Badra. Was 9th last year in the RSEQ with 4 tackles for losses.
Yeah, most teams just want to be able to get out of these all-star type games healthy, and that's good to see Badger up, walking under his own power off the field.
So Badra looks no worse for wear as he makes his way to the east sideline. First down at the east 50-yard line. Des Coutelier taking time during that injury timeout to confer with Michael Faulds, who's been working with the offense this week on behalf of the West. Hand off to Puskis, who slipped momentarily, then gets on his horse and hustles upfield for a gain of 15 and a first down. Jake Puskis, who led Queens in rushing this year with 438 yards on the ground.
And Puskis follows big Taryn Churchill, the Regina offensive lineman, on a little power play. Nice seam created there by the West O-line for a big gain on the ground.
The West in hurry up. There's a miscue there. They get the ball to Puskis. He's stacked up and driven back into the arms of Cam Lawson. So a couple of Queens teammates coming nose to nose on that play, and Lawson has wowed a lot of the scouts here this week.
He really has, especially as an interior defensive line prospect. There is going to be more and more attention on Lawson as the process goes along, and you saw it there. The quickness and the ability to shed and get off blocks and stack up running backs in the backfield is one of the things that he does well.
No gain on the play. 2nd and 10 for the West. Coutelier dropping back, throws it across the middle. It's complete. What should be a first down. And it's Brendan McCracken, the Laurier slot back, making his second catch of the game.
That's right, so sure-handed across the middle for Laurier over the years, and showing it here at the East-West Bowl. Coutelier looks like it's going to be just short of a first down, but with Greg Marshall, the Western University head coach, known for gambling on third down, 3rd and less than 1, they're going for it.
3rd and a foot as they stack it up along the line of scrimmage. Coutelier will sneak the ball ahead for a first down.
Coutelier puts his head down and surges forward behind that massive offensive line that gets some great push and moves the chains for the West.
Des Coutelier was telling us how excited he was this week, how quick the pace was. He's headed to the Saskatchewan Roughriders training camp as part of that CFL quarterback internship program.
That's right, as are all these quarterbacks headed to different training camps throughout the country, but there'll be a lot of focus there on Des Catelier with the Manitoba Bison's helmet being in the Riders camp.
Play action. Catelier throwing downfield, and it's intercepted. The East turning it over.
Rory Kelly with a nice hit up the goal line for Team East. It's red ball.
It looks like Rory Kelly of Acadia came up with that ball in a jump ball with Macho Bakru. Let's another look at it.
It's almost like Kelly had an idea that Catelier was going to go to his familiar target in Bakru, and Catelier really tried to force it in there. Kelly had good coverage over the top. That ball needed to be spotted way back in the corner of the end zone to have a chance to be completed to Bakru, but great job by Kelly jumping the route, going up and snatching the football for the interception.
Hunter Gennard will stay on the ground in a big gain, busting it upfield down the sideline. It's Dale Wright, finally tackled across the 35-yard line. Dale Wright, Acadia's lead running back last season, digs his team out of bad field position and tilts the football field.
Dale Wright breaking off for a big-time gain off the right side. Little zone play here and gets a crease jump cut, and he is through and out the gate. All it took was Noah Hallett to catch him, and that was a touchdown-saving tackle from Hallett.
They go right back to Dale Wright. Again, another diminutive powerhouse at running back for this East lineup. And he's stopped this time for a short gain of a little more than a yard.
Trying to feed the little man again. As you mentioned, Mark, it seems like the East squad is littered with these scat back types that are very built and muscular as well. And let's see what they do here in second and long.
Wright Justin Wright was second in rushing in the AUS last year with 839 yards rushing. Passing down. Gennard in the grasp, and he'll be sacked. No time at all for Hunter Gennard.
It seemed like Gennard was looking over the middle for Alex Daly from York. A little curl route, just didn't have that extra half second to be able to let it go.
Brock Gowanlock of Manitoba with the sack and a loss of 2.
If I'm counting right, that's Gowanlock's second of the day. A guy that I felt like coming in had long levers, knows how to use his hands well, and clearly can get to the quarterback. 2 takedowns already.
Gowanlock forcing 2 fumbles last season in the Can West Conference for Manitoba. So the East forced to punt. A high spiraling kick looking for the corner. It goes out of bounds. And a perfectly placed punt. They're going to spot that near the 1 yard line, maybe the 2. Now they're going to walk it up to the 5.
Coffin corner kick there either way. Looked like it was near perfect.
They'll spot it at the 5 yard line as the West take over on offense, and Des Catelier of the Manitoba Bisons goes back to work. Was 6th in U Sports passing last year with 287 yards through the air per game. In the end zone, quick drop looking for Bakru, and it's knocked down. In fact, Bakru making the play to break that up with Marc-Antoine Ducoy, that ball hawker on defense, almost able to pick it off.
A testing freak from Montreal, really impressed the scouts by what he did, showing his athleticism on Tuesday, and there you see it come into real live action, the vertical to go up and high point the football, and as you said, Mark, Bakru had to turn into the defensive back to knock down a potential interception.
Ducoy, who was the defensive player of the year last season in Quebec. Catelier throwing the ball across the middle. It's complete. Good catch by Kian Schaefer-Baker, and he'll have a first down for the West.
That ball was spotted very well by Catelier, but that catch was even more difficult from Schaefer Baker. Coming across the middle on a deep in cut, goes up and gets it in traffic, no fear, sure-handed, secures it for a key first down to try to help the West dig out of this tough field position.
Second big catch of the football game for Schaefer Baker of Guelph. First down West. Pressure coming again. Catelier steps up, throws to the wide side. Incomplete, intended for Tyler Turnowski of Waterloo.
The first target for Tyler the Terror,
yes.
Turnowski. Ball at least going in his way there once, just a little bit off target from Catelier. Looked like a comeback or an out route there on the short side of the field.
They got to find a way to get the ball into Turnowski's hands. I mean, the leading receiver last year in a terrific season with Waterloo. More than 1,100 yards through the air in the regular season. 2nd and 10. Catelier, time, throws it across the middle. It's complete. And there's Turnowski with his first catch of the football game. But it won't be enough for a first down. They'll be about 4 yards shy.
Turnowski on the crossing route had some separation, but just not enough there to get away from the defender who was chasing him in coverage. He was actually zone.
Wide open.
That's right, wide open, but the East D rallies to the football. Sure tackle there. Made short of the chains.
DeFonte will stand at his own 10 to punt for the West. An end-over-end punt bouncing at the 50. Scooped up and out of bounds. Return from Jaden White-Frayne and a late flag at midfield.
We'll see what the flag is, but either way here, going to be some great field position for the East squad.
No yards.
No yards is the call. 5-yard penalty. They'll move the ball to the 48 of the West. As you mentioned, Justin, great field position for Hunter Gennard of the Acadia Axemen to go to work, the AUS passing leader last season. He'll throw it deep down the far sideline, and it's incomplete. A little too far for Trey Kellogg of the UBC Thunderbirds.
Kellogg had a step there. Gennard just misses him, but if you're a quarterback, that's where you want to see the miss. Miss him long, make him have to try to catch it at full speed. Don't leave it short and give the DB a chance to make a play on the football. That could have been a touchdown there for the East.
He had a step on Nolan Putt, the field corner from McMaster. 2nd and 10. East trying to make good with this terrific field position to start this drive. Flags, there was movement along the line of scrimmage, and the ball is knocked down.
Knocked down, flag slide.
Look, Zach Huffren from Waterloo getting his hand up, but there is a flag. There was movement. I thought it was on the defensive side. We'll have to wait and see what the officials say. Again, so many officials involved in this game. It's an offside call against the defense.
You passed that test, Mark. 1 for 1 so far.
What'd you say, 13, 14 different officials have
14,
come
that's
here.
right.
So it is 2nd and 5. That offside call against the West keeps this East drive alive. Gennard. Handing off, head of speed, and it's a big first down. That Nathan Carter of the Ravens finding a seam. And Carter has done that time and time again. He's only about 5'9", but slips tackles.
That's right. Defenders just seem to slip off him as he finds a whole little zone off the right side there. Slipping tackle after tackle and moving the chains for the East squad. Ran for almost 800 yards last year for the Ravens.
94.5 yards a game average for Carleton. Had that big playoff against McMaster. rushing for 172 yards and 3 touchdowns. And another of these pint-sized, powerful running backs on this East offense. First down for the East after the gain of 15 by Carter. He takes the ball again. Upfield, Nathan Carter still on his feet. Finally taken down as he crashes to the 18-yard line by Justice Mamoka of Alberta. But the local boy who's making good, you know, he grew up at the Carleton Raven junior camps here, wanted to stay in Ottawa, groomed by the Ravens coaches as a kid, and now he's starring in their offense.
Really getting a feel here for his offensive line up front as they run another zone play, this time to the inside, cuts it up, and one defender away from taking that to the house.
To the red zone they are, the East threatening. Handoff again to Carter. Carter with a shifty move, piles across the 15-yard line. And Mamoka once again in on the play, along with Aaron Chibelo from Alberta. To the Raven running back, leading the charge on this late first half drive by the East with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Second and about 6 for the East. Gennard will pass this time, looking to the end zone on a corner route. It's overthrown. Intended for the Laval receiver, Marc-Antoine Pivin. It's incomplete. And it's third down in a field goal situation for the East.
You mentioned it, Mark. It looked like Antoine Pivin was running a corner route, but Gennard threw it more up the field, almost skinnier. And that's what's a little bit difficult about this game, is that you're working with players that really only had a few practices with. So trying to read where they're going to go once you get in that game action can be difficult.
So Kieran Burnham of St. FX will attempt this field goal from the 21. With Liam O'Brien to hold. Ball is up and good. So the East have taken the lead on that short field goal by Kieran Burnham, who led the AUS last year in kicking, was good on 18 of 23 with the longest of 47 yards. Another good-looking Canadian kicker with a live leg.
And the East, maybe to the surprise of a lot of people that were around the game all week, has the lead. A lot of people felt like the talent might have favored the West.
It's Greg Marshall looking good with the lead on the sideline with his former Western quarterback Michael Faltz, who now coaches Laurier Golden Hawks. The Brain Trust on the East, they've got the lead 10-7 with 1:49 to go until halftime. Catelier handing off. Big Caden Johnson runs into a massive defenders, and he'll push the ball upfield for a gain of about 5.
Looks like Catelier in the West squad trying to go hurry up here with under 2 minutes to go. Change the pace.
Catelier calling the signals in this hurry-up offense. 1:34 and ticking left. And the play is whistled down as Catelier took the snap. He wasn't even looking when he caught that.
No look catch there on the snap. But
timeout called by the West as Catelier comes to Michael Faltz near the sideline.
It looks like they weren't on the same page there, so Faltz calls timeout.
We'll take a break with 1:32 to go until halftime here in Ottawa. Yeah, West. I know. I got confused. Yeah. Second and 6. 1:32 to go until halftime. Catelier handing off up the gut. That'll be short of the first down on the second down carry by Dion Pellerin of the Waterloo Warriors. So third and a little more than a yard.
Bringing in an offensive line. This is the range where Greg Marshall doesn't mind going for it.
Marshall and the West trying to get back in this game, down by a field goal. Just over a minute to play. They'll gamble inside their 45-yard line. On third and a little more than one, it's Pellerin barging his way to a first down.
That's enough for the first down.
Long run, they go right back to Pellerin, lowers the shoulder, powers his way for that first down, and sub packages coming in for the offense as they try to work out of the hurry up with Coutelier barking out the signals.
Bison quarterback with the ball across the 46-yard line. Back to pass, lots of time. Crossing route is complete to Colton Klassen of Saskatchewan, and he has another first down for the West as they move the sticks again.
Coutelier looking calm in the pocket, delivering the football on target. Klassen doing his thing across the middle. In the open field, chains are moving, trying to keep up with the offense.
47.8 seconds left in the half. Coutelier looks to the wide side. Wide open is Brett Ellerman of the Western Mustangs. Mr. First Down has another one here. And when he plays for Western, I think he has about a 13 or 14-yard average per catch. And another first down at the 38 of the East. Coutelier moving this offense. Here's pressure. He steps up. In trouble. Pulled down. There's a flag on the play. Tevin Bowen pushing upfield for the East, along with Sam Broderick of Concordia.
He was holding on Bowen too, and he still was able to drag down Coutelier to slow down this no-huddle offense that had really got going, and Bowen being dragged to the ground still somehow gets a hold of Coutelier's foot to bring him down.
The holding call will push the ball back to the 46 for the West. Tevin Bowen had a monstrous season last year for Carleton at defensive tackle. A motor that just never stops. And a great leader to boot. So Coutelier, after conferencing with Michael Faltz, heading back out on this 2nd and 18 situation. Time not on his side, 23.6 seconds to go until the half.
Coutelier bringing the troops out of the huddle, second and very long situation, but still enough time on the clock. You get some yardage here, you could get a look at a field goal.
2nd and 18 for the West. Need a big play, time running out to get at least into field goal range. Coutelier downfield, it's complete for a big first down. A great catch by Colton Klassen of Saskatchewan Huskies to move the yardsticks and put the West in field goal range with 19.2 seconds to go.
Heck, Coutelier isn't thinking field goal now. Looks like he's thinking end zone with that big completion.
Still some time for a couple of more plays. Coutelier back to pass. Lots of room to run, and he will take the football. Coutelier across the 20, sliding to the 15, gets down with 9.9 seconds left in the first half.
The only thing there with Coutelier running is it chews off some more time. They're trying to get the play call in as quickly as they can. Probably time here for 2 more snaps.
Coutelier in the shotgun, looking end zone, throwing it deep for Machu Bakru. He's got it! Touchdown! The Bison connection with 2 seconds to go in the half.
Bakru dancing in the back corner. Exactly what I was talking about with these two being familiar from each other from their Manitoba days playing together. Is that Coutelier is going to put it up knowing Bakru can go and get it. He's done that time and time again. Coming over the back of the defender, Bakru making an athletic grab in the back of the end zone.
So familiarity breeds a major.
With just 2.1 seconds left on the clock, just as they drew that no-huddle offense up.
Point after from Leggio is up and good. And so the West scramble in the final minute and a half of this opening half to take the lead, 14-10 over the East. And you could see Catelier wanting the play call. And you've got to remember that these players have had 4 days of practice. Putting in the plays, putting in the signals is a lot to digest. And they ran that hurry up perfectly, didn't they?
They really did. And Catelier was smart in the sense of he knew where the clock was and how much time he had, and that even if that ball fell incomplete, they would have still been able to line up for a field goal in the last play of the half and had a chance at points. Puts it up to a familiar face in Bacher, who again makes that athletic play up and over the defender, shows the vertical, bring it down for 6.
So 2.1 seconds left on the clock as Mark Leggio tees it up for the West, the Mustang kicker. Back to receive Ante Iguavuin of Laurier. And the Sherbrooke running back. Here comes Iguavuin across the 20. Final play of this opening half. Breaks another tackle and is taken out of bounds on the final play of the opening half. As these college seniors put on a show. And it's the West who open the scoring with the lead. And
finished it too, Mark, with Catelier running the 2-minute drive, looking for Bacher to break free, and says, all right, I'm just going to throw up a 50-50 ball. Bacher going up and getting one, stealing one for his quarterback there in the back of the end zone. Spectacular grab.
To the Bison connection. Catelier to Bacher. Puts the West back in front, 14-10 as we reach halftime here in Ottawa. The halftime will be actually shortened to 10 minutes. The teams will stay out on the field. Coaches will break down with their individual groups and go over that opening half. But nobody will be leaving to the Raven locker rooms. Let's go back down to the sidelines, and Marshall Ferguson is standing by with Laurier head coach Michael Falls.
Is calling the plays. They're screaming up and down the sideline at the back end of the first half. First of all, what did you call? And tell me about that drive.
Yeah, it's just confusion. Obviously, you have new guys from all over the country playing here, but Des threw a great ball. Obviously, we got the Manitoba connection there in the boundary. It was a simple out by the slot and a go by the wide out, and obviously Des has a lot of trust in Macho, and that's where he went with the ball.
He waited him out pretty good there, didn't he? He let it go a little bit later than you probably draw it up.
Well, that's the thing. We had 10 seconds on the clock, so we were worried. We want to at least leave with a field goal, but he got it out in time and made a good throw.
Will Amoa as well, the interception there for you guys in the first half. Nice to see him ripping around out here.
Yeah, exactly. A good interception. Defense is playing well. You can tell both teams are kind of feeling things out. It's a little bit sloppy for an all-star game, but I think the scoring will pick up in this half.
Really, the last one for you, Mike, is that you see you've been through enough of these, first quarter field out, second quarter, some big plays get made, third quarter, kind of the same as the second. Fourth quarter, it's like any all-star game, right? The fourth quarter, you tend to get a little bit different level of competition. Is that what you expect with the group you got?
Exactly, and as coaches, we have a lot of rules in this all-star game. When you get to a fourth quarter, especially if the score is close like this, I think all rules go out. We're all competitors, and we should have an exciting fourth.
It's been a fun one so far. Thank you, Mike.
Awesome, thanks, Mark.
Michael Falls, guys, back up to you.
Pressure, and you think with these all-star type teams that are here, a lot of good football players, that the offense would explode and have a ton of points.
2019 East-West Bowl with the West leading the East 14-10.
Good luck, Brad Collins. Thanks for your time.
Hey football fans, Mike Sutherland here, voice of your Ottawa Redblacks, and a huge supporter of minor football in our area. My friends at HESN are doing some great work for our local minor sports leagues, and I encourage you to become a subscriber, supporter, and viewer. Now, back to the game.
Coaches Team West and the Mustangs out of the University of Western Ontario. Enjoy the second half, folks. Come on, let's hear you now with the radio diamond. Come on. Look at the night, and it don't seem the same. We've done it all, we don't need to. That's just and you! Touch it. Reach it out, touching me.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by House Edge Media. House Edge Media is a creative marketing agency based in Ottawa that helps businesses innovate and automate their digital marketing activities. Visit them at houseedgemedia.com.
Game strat as soon as a play happens. Coaches up in the booth and on the field all have access to instant video replay. This gives coaches the ability to provide immediate feedback to players and make better in-game adjustments. You have the ability to select any play and immediately begin reviewing it. With user-friendly controls, you can fast-forward, rewind, and even pause and begin drawing on the video. Please visit our website for more information.
HESN would like to thank Abley Productions for its support of this broadcast. The House Edge Sports Network would like to thank GameStrat for its support of HESN Youth Sports Network.
good look at Carleton University on this sunny spring day. Gorgeous conditions for this 2019 East-West Bowl. As we get set for the second half, Mark Lee with Justin Dunk. The West retaking the lead in the final 2 seconds of that opening half on that great Manitoba Bison connection from Catelier to Bachru.
That's right, Catelier leading the hurry-up drive down the field, knew what the clock situation was, put it up to his receiver in the back of the end zone. Bachru goes up and makes an athletic grab, showing off that vertical for the West to lead at halftime.
The East getting on the board with that 4-yard rushing touchdown by Tremblay Arnois. That appears to be the strong suit of the East is their running game with the likes of Tremblay Arnois, Dale Wright, and Nathan Carter of the Ravens.
That's right. Dale Wright really dug that East squad out of a deep field position hole with the big run. And then they started feeding Nathan Carter, and that seems to be where the East has been having most of their success offensively, is that ground game, using that offensive line to create some space off the football for these talented running backs to be able to pick up some yardage and move the chains.
Each quarterback getting a quarter in that first half, and now as we make the turn to the second half, we'll see how the coaches divvy up playing time. Now it's about winning. It's about your performance in that first half. Clay Sequeira, who opened for the East, showed his scrambling ability. Looked like he may have banged up one of his legs as he warmed up here. He was favoring that leg at halftime. We'll see what the East does. And then you've got Sinagra and Catelier. Both have looked pretty good. The Sinagra with that deep ball early in the game to Schaefer Baker. And then, of course, that Catelier pass of about 20 yards into the end zone to Bachru. And it looks like both quarterbacks still warming up on the West sideline.
Both got to be ready. West couldn't get the ball first. East kicking off to start the third quarter.
Hard to deny Sinagra the football ball.
Yeah, it really is. The Crichton winner, but Catelier right in there with him.
He's looked good. He ran that hurry-up offense. There's a good look at the Dinos quarterback, the Crichton winner. Led the U Sports in passing, 3,233 yards, a passing record and 23 touchdowns through the air.
There were games where he nearly had perfect quarterback ratings, and if a ball hit the ground, you were surprised. So, as you said, Mark, it would be surprising to see them go away from Sinagra on the west side.
Colton Klassen of the Huskies takes the opening kickoff. Short return on the play. It'll be first down West at their own 30, and it is Adam Sinagra, the U Sports leading passer from 1 year ago, who will start this second half. Jake Puskis, the lone back in the backfield for the West. Here comes the blitz from the East. Sinagra throws it to the wide side over the head of Sam Baker of Saskatchewan and incomplete.
And you could see Sinagra signaling to Baker after that ball hit the turf. You wanted him to turn outside and be closer to the numbers, sort of where Sinagra was trying to spot that football. A little bit of miscommunication there.
Sinagra, having seen Michael O'Connor of UBC go in the third round of the CFL draft this year, was asked what his expectations are for himself, and his quick reply was, "I'm 8-0 against Michael O'Connor." Here's Sinagra throwing again. It's complete in traffic, and he finds Schaefer Baker for a first down.
Confident young man, and that was a confident throw into a tight window for Schaefer Baker on 2nd and 10. Sinagra spotting the football perfectly, exactly where it had to be on the outside shoulder for Schaefer Baker to be able to make that grab and move the chains. And Sinagra is one not to shy away from tight windows there, as he saw a little bit of area in the zone.
Puskis, the Queen's back, lowers the boom up the gut for a gain of 7 on first down. And the West are marching. You talk about the competitive juices of Adam Sinagra. He was really competitive when he was talking about himself and Michael O'Connor.
You can definitely tell that over the years where Michael O'Connor, and rightfully so because his skills deserve it, has gotten a lot of the hype in the Canada West Conference. But all Sinagra did last year was go out and set a U Sports record as he gets tackle of the turf there with over 3,200 yards passing, goes 8-0 with the Dinos during the regular season, and as you mentioned, Mark, head-to-head with O'Connor was 8-0. So he feels like, just based on that statistic, that he should have a shot to go ahead of O'Connor, where he went in the CFL draft, which was the third round of the Toronto Argos, next year when Sinagra is going to be on the clock in the 2020 CFL draft.
I don't know what it's like to lose to Mike O'Connor was another comment. So a miscue on that running play to Puskas, and Des Catellier will come in on a third down gamble as he drives it up the gut on the quarterback sneak, and he'll have the first down.
I like that move there. You bring in Catellier, who's clearly the bigger, more physically imposing quarterback of the two, to run the quarterback sneak, and Sinagra comes right back out on the field to try to pick up this drive and keep it going.
Adam Sinagra was talking about his future as a CFL quarterback. He said, I've been in the Stampeders camp. I've seen those quarterbacks, the Bo Levi Mitchells, and I know I belong. First down at midfield for the West. Adam Sinagra at quarterback, and all kinds of motion as the East come charging across the line of scrimmage.
And Coulter Woodmansey, the Guelph offensive lineman there, moving early, lining
Tevin
up at
Bowen
left
as
tackle.
well. Tevin Bowen, the Carleton Raven, who was called in late in the week as a late substitute on the defensive line for the East.
He drew Woodmansey offside, and it'll be 1st and 15 for Sinagra in the West offense.
Blitz coming from the East. Sinagra steps up in the pocket, sidearms it upfield to McCracken. Brendan McCracken takes it across the 30 before he's forced out of bounds.
Sinagra, again, he's showing you some of that sneaky athletic ability that he has. You might look at that frame and think, well, he's only going to beat you from the pocket, but eludes a little bit of pressure, steps up and finds McCracken again in a tight window on the run, spots the ball perfectly.
West in hurry up. Sinagra to pass, throwing to the wide side, wide open, another completion, and another first down as Sam Baker makes the catch. The Saskatchewan Husky moves the yardsticks with a gain of 15.
And Sinagra getting them going again up to the line of scrimmage, and got that ball out quickly to Baker on the wide side of the field, showing the strong arm from Sinagra.
Sinagra throwing again. Lots of time across the middle. It's complete. Tyler Turnowski says he's got it. Indeed it is. A touchdown for the West. What an opening drive by Adam Sinagra.
That's right, Sinagra carving him up in the hurry-up. Looked very comfortable, and who does he find in the end zone but the U Sports receiving touchdown leader from a year ago? Turnowski had 14 of them to post the second most ever total in U Sports single season history. Finds the end zone in the East-West Bowl. Double catch, but it counts the same.
So Sinagra against Turnowski involved in the end zone. Ellerman bobbled the snap. DeFonte gets it over, and it's good.
Check out the replay here. Sinagra calm in the pocket, going through his progressions, sees Turnowski pop open in that little hole in the zone and fits it in there perfectly. Turnowski goes down to the turf, makes eventually a sure-handed catch, and Turnowski, an interesting way that he even got to Waterloo, right, Mark?
Well, his high school coach was going around the OUA begging coaches to give Turnowski a chance, saying he believed so much in that receiver that he would bet them a case of whiskey, that he could play in that league. And, well, we now know the rest of the story.
That's right. Chris Pretoria, the Waterloo Warriors head coach, took him on, and at the end of Turnowski's first season at Waterloo, and we should say that he's out of Sir Alan McNabb in Hamilton, there was a case of whiskey on that head coach's doorstep from Bertoria, so he turned into the player that his head coach was willing to bet on from high school.
Turnowski looks like he's tailor-made as a slot back in the CFL. At the 6-yard line, Trey Kellogg sliding, sifting through tacklers, and he'll cross the 30-yard line. Another real evasive returner as he carved his way through traffic for a return of 25.
Moves well for a big man, and obviously has those football bloodlines from his dad, Jackie Kellogg, that you saw play so well for the Calgary Stampeders, and has made a number of plays here today and looks pretty confident and comfortable as a returner too.
Indeed he does. Hunter Gennard will continue at quarterback after playing the second quarter for the East, the Acadia passing leader. And flags fly with movement along the line of scrimmage.
Look like Sam Achimpong jumping offside in the neutral zone there, but we'll see if it goes offense or defense. Going to go against the defense there. Big number 91 couldn't quite hold his water on the hard count.
Big Sam Achimpong, who was third in the Laurier defense with a pair of quarterback sacks last year, will make it 1st and 5 for that transgression for the East. Hunter Gennard, hands off, straight up the gut for a short gain on the play. And it's the Sherbrooke running back, William Tremblay-Arnois, with a gain of 3.
And we see Gennard back out for the third quarter for the East squad. He went in the second quarter, and you wonder if they're going to flip back to Sequeira in the fourth or roll with Gennard if he kind of keeps showing he can drive this offense. Mostly been on the ground. Let's even get it going through the air.
And we did see Sequeira favoring his leg in warm-ups during the half. Gennard handing off, Tremblay-Arnois pounding his way for a short yardage first down, and there's some pushing and shoving after the play. The Raven offensive tackle, Jesse Lawson, in the thick of some pushing and shoving, but the officials do not throw a flag.
And Aaron Chabelo on the other end of that, not going to take that lightly. The fella's getting after it a little bit as we get deeper into the second half here.
West up 21-10. After that opening scoring drive, Sinagra to Turnowski. And more flags as they can't get this play off.
Movement before the snap there. Nick Daly, defensive end for the West squad out of University of Saskatchewan. Looked like he jumped, but it's the offense that they're going to call it against. Offside, back him up 5.
1st and 15. Nick Daly is quite a prospect, playing for Saskatchewan this year after his first 2 years at Regina. Was Rookie of the Year in 2016 in Can West and an All-Star in 2017. Left to play junior ball with Okanagan Sun last year, decommitting from Regina, who was losing a lot of players, and has cast his fate with Saskatchewan, who he believes will be the team that he can showcase his talents with in his draft year. Hunter Gennard, crossing route is complete to Ante Iguavan of Laurier, and he takes a big hit. Nolan Pott dropping the boom.
Aaron Chabelo there looked like he took the worst of it.
The Alberta middle linebacker is still down.
That's right. Coming across on the crossing route, Iguavan open underneath that zone. Gennard hits him underneath, and bunch of players crashing, banging together, and it looked like Chabelo took that helmet of Putt right on his helmet, and he's down.
So the two defenders colliding head on, making the tackle on Iguavan. And a hush falls over this crowd here in Ottawa as they attend to Aaron Chabelo of Alberta. Medical officials attending to the Alberta linebacker. And while they do that, we'll take a break.
Hey football fans, Mike Sutherland here, voice of your Ottawa Redblacks, and a huge supporter of minor football in our area. My friends at HESN are doing some great work for our local minor sports leagues, and I encourage you to become a subscriber, supporter, and viewer. Now, back to the game.
With Game Strat, as soon as a play happens, coaches up in the booth and on the field all have access to instant video replay. This gives coaches the ability to provide immediate feedback to players and make better in-game adjustments. You have the ability to select any play and immediately begin reviewing it. With user-friendly controls, you can fast-forward, rewind, and even pause and begin drawing on the video. Please visit our website for more information.
Back in Ottawa, as Jake Puskas of the Queens Golden Gales is on his feet, and so is the middle linebacker Aaron Chabelo, who was down for about 5 minutes after a head-on-head crash with Nolan Putt of Mac Marauders.
Zone defender on the team. You could see University of Alberta coach Chris Morris there watching over his player now under the tent with Chabelo. We hope he's all right.
2nd and 4 for the East. And they stay on the ground. This will be close to a first down as William Tremblay Arnois of Sherbrooke carries the ball on 2nd and about 4. This looks like it's about a yard short. At the 53 of the East, their offense stays on the field.
Yeah, for the first time, the East going to gamble on 3rd down. We've seen the West do it a number of times. Greg Marshall well known for it, but Glen Constantin get a counter here.
3rd down gamble for the East. Hunter Gennard, oh, big contact on the quarterback sneak, and this is going to be close. You can see Sam Gowanlock saying they didn't get it, and we'll have to see where they spot the football. The East are signaling first down.
Might need a measurement here. It's so both teams think
both teams
they're going to keep
out
the
there.
Football. We see Gennard got a little bit of initial surge, but he got taken down quickly by defender flying over the top of the pile there. That looked like it was Michael Reed out of Waterloo coming out of nowhere.
The ball is spotted right at the 54 of the East. That's where the first down marker is as they bring the chains into measure.
What do you think, Mark? I'm going short.
I think they've got it. It's very close.
Stretching out that chain.
They've got it. It is a first down for the East by less than the length of the football.
Yeah,
that's
the
how
veteran's
close
right.
it was.
It is first down. East.
That was a hellacious contact, though, between Hunter Gennard and Michael Reed and Brock Gowanlock in there for measure.
Fighting for every inch there. That could be a deciding play or turning point of this game.
Easter down by 11, trying to respond to that opening scoring drive in the second half by Adam Sinagra and the West. The Acadia quarterback in the shotgun, 5 receivers downfield. That ball is errant and incomplete, intended for Iguavon, it looked like, but there was a mix-up there as he went downfield and the ball was thrown outside.
Gennard throwing it in the area of Iguavon. It looked like he was trying to release on a fade route, and Gennard was either trying to throw a back shoulder or a type of comeback route. But again, that's just one of the difficulties of the game. You don't have a ton of reps with the skill guys, and it can make throws like that go off pretty easily.
Hunter Gennard of Acadia, who will be going to the BC Lions training camp as a Canadian quarterback intern. 2nd and 10, pressure in the pocket. He stays in, throws it incomplete. Intended for Jonathan Breton-Robert, one of the best receivers out of Laval. First time I think he's been targeted in this football game.
That's right, it has been, and out of his reach, did about all he could to try to jump and contort his body to try to make the grab. As Gennard looks pretty patient and poised in the pocket, slides around, buys enough time and space to be able to get rid of that ball, and just delivers it behind Breton Robert, who can't come up with it. 3rd and 10, and the punt team on for the East.
You sports fans will remember Breton Robert with that 45-yard catch on the very first offensive play of the Vanier Cup from Hugo Richard. Wobbly punt, bouncing to Colton Klassen at his own 20. Klassen gets a seam. The big Saskatchewan Husky is downfield. It's a foot race, and he's knocked out of bounds. Nathan Carter makes the tackle, but there are flags on the field back near the 35.
Flag on the play. Rematch.
Klassen squirting through a seam there. It looked pretty clean. We got 3 flags down on the play, and it looks like back in about the middle of the field there between the 35 and 40-yard line. Might have been an illegal block, but Klassen nearly takes it to the house, and there could have been another one there from behind.
Yeah, there were 3 flags on the field. There was a crack back there about 10 yards downfield.
Sinagra trotting out for the West squad, and they're setting up somewhere around the 15-yard line. I think this ball's going to be brought back.
Colton Klassen showing that explosive power.
He's an explosive athlete, very tough too. Took a number of shots and just kept on ticking last year for the Saskatchewan Huskies. Made plays as a receiver time and time again as the number 1 threat, and in the return game too.
There were 3 holding calls against the West. 2 were declined. They took 1. And so the West will scrimmage first down at their own 26-yard line. Adam Sinagra of the Calgary Dinos, the Heck Crichton Award winner from last season, staying in at quarterback. Marching the West downfield on the opening drive of the second half. Finding Tyler Turnowski in the end zone. Building an 11-point margin on the East.
The refs still talking about all these holding flags if they got them all figured out properly and all the math accounted for. Sinagra just wants to snap the ball. The West is ready to go.
Officials trying to sort it out. Again, some of these officials, they're going to add more yardage.
Going back another 10.
Another 10. Again, there were 3 holding calls that the referee, Kevin Lamont, indicated 2 had been declined. Clearly 2 blocking penalties against the West. Spot the ball at their own 15, and it's big Caden Johnson from the York Lions carrying the mail as he hustles upfield for a good-looking carry on first down. This big running back who may have a future in track and field as a sprinter hurdler, maybe even a decathlete. He's been identified in the Royal Bank RBC training ground program in Saskatchewan as an athlete that Olympic sport has its eyes on. He's also a thespian, taking acting and theater at York in their well-regarded program. A versatile, multi-dimensional athlete in the backfield for the West right now. Sinagra play action to Johnson, throwing a crossing route, and it's complete to Klassen for a big first down as the Husky continues to impress. He's been one of the standouts offensively and on special teams.
That's right. One of the impressive traits about Sinagra, who got Klassen the ball there, is his ability to handle the football quickly off of action and get it out in rhythm on the skinny post there to Klassen for a first down.
The West in hurry up. Sinagra is sacked. Michael Badra of Sherbrooke Verteor makes the sack for the East.
Badger dancing to some of the tunes in-house here at Stadium after that takedown. It looked like Sinagra was trying to slide up with the pocket and just shake him, but Badger makes the sure tackle for the sack and putting the West in about a 2nd and
18.
6. Yeah, long down situation.
Loss of 8 on the snack. Here comes pressure from Badger again. Flags are away. So is the ball. One-handed catch by Klassen in tight coverage on the play.
Flag down in the middle of the field, but an absolute dime from Sinagra and a better catch from Klassen. Needed one hand to just reel it in on that skinny corner route in the boundary side of the field.
Rory Kelly had great coverage too.
Perfect ball from Sinagra. As you said, tight coverage. You're probably going to get Kelly for pass interference on the play as he's in contact with Klassen. That football is in the air. And again, that's coming from a quarterback, but that's what it looked like to me. get the call here in a second.
Officials meeting once more to sort out this play. Penalty. Kevin Lamont, the referee here in the third quarter, as these referees
That's the right thing
alternate.
to do. Highlight reel play. You got to let it stand, right?
Offside against the defense declined, holding against the defense declined, and that big one-handed catch by Colton Classen of Saskatchewan is good. And they move the sticks into East territory as Adam Sinagra has found his groove and his rhythm here in the second half after a great start in the first half. First down at the 46 of the East. Sinagra, play action. Look at the time. Throwing deep downfield. Schaefer Baker's got it, and he's got a touchdown.
Sinagra, so much patience for that to happen. It looked like and appeared to the defense that they were setting up a screen to Brenton Hall on the short side of the field, and even Clausen was running that skinny post. Looked at both of those guys on the short side first, drew the free safety over, which opened up Schaefer Baker down the strong seam for the touchdown.
46-yard pass from Adam Sinagra to Kean Schaefer Baker of the Guelph Griffins. And that's the way Sinagra opened the game, with that big, long pass to Schaefer Baker. It's one of his favorite targets here in this football game. The point after by Nico DeFonte is good.
And here you see it. Sinagra off play action, looking at the short side of the field. Brenton Hall running that little hitch screen route, and Colton Clausen down the middle to hold the safety to the short side, but all the while down the backside, Schaefer Baker down the seam, and Sinagra spots it near perfectly. Credit Schaefer Baker coming back to the football at the catch point, winning the battle, breaking a tackle, getting in the end zone for 6.
Kean Schaefer Baker, who was the number 2 receiver in the Guelph offense last year and made some spectacular plays, including that beauty in the playoffs against Ottawa.
And Schaefer Baker trains out in Mississauga with actually a former OUA cornerback, Shea Pierre, at his Elite Performance Training Center. Spends a lot of time training with Calgary Stampeders receiver Joanne Briskason, who played his university football down in the States, but is a budding star at the pro level, and learning well from Briskason, who is very similar to Schaefer Baker. Bigger body receiver with some speed. Schaefer Baker showing you all of his traits there on the touchdown.
And Sinagra had so much time, looked so poised on that play. Kick is taken by Trey Kellogg at his 12. He'll come to the wide side of the field, now cut up in a seam, and he's hauled down as he crosses the 25-yard line, where the East will go back on offense with Hunter Gennard of the Acadia Axemen still at the controls.
Yeah, and the East needs to find some sort of rhythm, especially in the passing game. Get some of these, especially as you've mentioned, Mark, these Laval weapons involved. They've got the ability to get down the field and get open. We just need Gennard to spot him and get the football there. Start making some plays.
Justin Marc-Antoine Pivin and Jonathan Breton-Robert, the 2 Laval receivers, yet to be a factor in this game as they stay on the ground. There's Dale Wright scampering outside on the short side of the field and out of bounds, very close to a first down. Dale Wright, who was second in the AUS in rushing last season with 839 yards.
Looks like Wright's calves are going to about burst out of those, even though they're low-cut socks. Those are huge, man. You saw the speed coming out the backside on that play to scamper for a first down.
Built like a Clydesdale, but he's got the speed of a thoroughbred. And it is a first down indeed, a 10-yard carry by Dale Wright. He gets the ball again, looking for a seam. Straight arm, gets outside, upfield, and pushed out of bounds. Again, very close to a first down.
Some patience there from Wright, allowing his blocks to set up.
Straight arming Jersey Henry to get outside on that play.
That's right, Jersey Henry, one of the talented defenders.
Some are saying he might be one of the best players in the East, or rather the West defense.
Potentially, and tough guy to stiff arm and get out the way, but there you see Wright just being patient, letting his block set up, and then getting outside. That was actually the previous play, the first down run that moved the chains. 2nd and 1. It's Wright again. This time he's stacked up and hammered for a loss on the play. And a big tackle by Curtis Gray of Waterloo, who's been raising
heck on this defense for the West.
And that was one of the standouts from the West coaches as the week progressed was Gray. They really felt like as it went along, he picked up the system, got comfortable, and seemed like he was going to make a lot of plays come game day.
So it's 3rd and 1, no gain on the carry by Dale Wright. The East offense will go for it. Gennard will stay in the shotgun. Handing off. Right up the gut they go, and once again, Dale Wright lowers the boom for a first down.
That'll get the first down.
Dale Wright, the workhorse here for the East squad. He's really had a feel for where to run the ball in this mostly zone running attack that the East has employed, and obviously something Laval does so well, which Glen Constantin leans on every year in that offensive line, and it's carried on to Concordia and Brad Collinson, one of the guys involved with the coaching staff on the East side as well.
So Hunter Gennard playing that Acadia connection with his tailback right. Now he goes through the air. It's short and incomplete, intended for Alex Daly, the York Lions.
Daly couldn't quite get the fingertips on.
There's a flag. Is that a flag hit deep in the backfield? As it looked like Gennard took some shots there.
And Gennard trying to get out this quick hitch throw to Daly. It's a little low. Kabamba just playing through every single whistle, but it does look like it was a
roughing the quarterback or a hands to the face.
Late hit on the QB.
Yep. They'll move that ball 15 yards. And the East now in West territory. First down at the West 47. Gennard is a tough customer, not intimidated in the least. The Acadia Axeman quarterback. Play action this time, pumping, wanting to go deep. Now he's in trouble, can't find a receiver, and he'll be sacked.
Helmet pops off underneath that pile too. All kinds of time there for Gennard. Just couldn't find a matchup, and there's Bleska Kabamba in the back end dancing up a storm. He knew he had lockdown coverage on the play.
Carter Wilson of the Guelph Griffins with the sack.
Gennard pump fake, looking deep. 1, 2, 3. Got to check 3 different options and couldn't find one. And by that time, if your defensive line isn't getting home, they ain't worth much. And as you said, Wilson with the takedown.
Loss of 1, 2nd and 11 for the East. West quickly off the line. There's a flag as Gennard is wrapped up and whistles blow. Rossini Sanjong of York. Looked like he may have jumped the gun off the edge. We'll have to wait and see what the officials say.
It's a false start coming out of the blocks, isn't it?
Isn't it ever? You're disqualified.
If he wasn't on the track, he would be, but fortunately it'll just be a 5-yard penalty for Sanjong, as it looked like he got a real good jump there, but just a little bit early in getting off the ball.
Sanjong leading the York Lions with 4 sacks last season, their top rush end. So it's 2nd and 6 after the 5-yard offside call against the West. Hunter Gennard with Wright by his side, his Acadia teammate. Gennard gets the ball away and it's knocked down. Looked like he was trying to get a little screen going there. And it's 3rd down.
Yeah, the East really only moving the ball with Dale Wright on the ground, and then that late hit on the quarterback penalty when Hunter Gennard took a shot. The passing attack has been pretty much grounded by the West squad, and a lot of it being done by that defensive backfield and allowing the defensive line to get home.
Last time I felt a handshake like Hunter Gennard's, I was shaking hands with a chuck wagon race driver in Calgary at the Stampede. That kid is tough. High, towering punt, forcing Colton Klassen back to his 2-yard line. Nowhere to go. Great punt cover and a terrific punt by Pierre-Antoine Dastou of Sherbrooke. A towering punt of 55 yards.
Some great hang time, allowing his coverage unit to get down there and pin Klassen deep to his own goal line.
Good look at the peninsula. Carleton University, the capital university, nicely tucked between the picturesque Rideau Canal and the Rideau River. Dow's Lake in the background on a gorgeous spring day here in the nation's capital. Adam Sinagra of the Calgary Dinos staying at quarterback in the final minute of this 3rd quarter. Ball on his own 4-yard line. He'll throw downfield. Wide open is Brendan McCracken of the Laurier Golden Hawks, and a huge gain of 45 yards.
Sinagra just standing in there dissecting, sees McCracken pop open, easily throws it over the defense on target, and a big gain for the West to get out of a deep hole backed up against their goal line. And here you see it, off play action, sees McCracken get free, and the ball is right there on the money.
Sinagra with lots of time down the middle. Brett Ellerman of the Mustangs has it. And another big first down in a gain of about 18 on the play.
And this is what you've seen so often if you watch Canada West football or Adam Sinagra at all last year, is when he gets in this hurry-up rhythm, it is near unstoppable. He's just feeling it clearly, has a hot hand right now.
Sinagra shredding this East defense. Goes to the air again. Wide open and overthrown. Tyler Ternowski of Waterloo was headed to the end zone.
And Sinagra, frustrated with himself, knew he had a touchdown there. Tyler, the terror, Ternowski again running free, wide open, and Sinagra just misses Ternowski for 6.
Adam was telling us the other day, Justin, that this offense is much like the one he runs in Calgary, with just a little difference in the terminology.
That's right, because Ryan Sheahan, the former Dinos offensive coordinator, has now come over to the Guelph Griffins as head coach, and Mark Surya, the offensive coordinator for the West, is now working with Sheahan at Guelph as the Griffins offensive coordinator. So, as you said, Mark, most of the schemes fairly the same, just the verbiage a little different. So all it took was Sinagra just for him to adjust to that different way that they're going to call some of the plays, and he clearly looks comfortable.
And you mentioned Mark Surya, the new offensive coordinator at Guelph, wanting to break the East-West scoring record of 39. They're 11 points away, and the way they're playing right now and hurry up and going deep, they're going to get there. It is
right.
2nd and 10 as we start the fourth quarter of this East-West Bowl in Ottawa. Sinagra handing off. Jake Pascas, the big fleet running back for Queens, gets outside, and finally he's wrestled, and a late shot there as he's thrown down out of bounds. But a big gain and a flag on the play at the 20.
That's right. Looks like it might be a crackback block coming against the offense, which could bring this run back, but it'll be after the first down. Great little draw play up the middle. They get him through the hole, and then Puskas doing his thing, properly switching the football to his outside hand, and then showing a little bit of speed, trying to get around that corner. And there you see, I believe that was Brenton Hall coming back downhill on a defender that they're going to throw the flag on and take it back, but it should be after first down yardage was gained.
That was Jamel Johnson, the U of T free safety, who made the tackle, and some extracurricular activities out of bounds. So it's first down at the 35 for the West. Sinagra and motion on the defense, Tevin Bowen and Sam Rossi of the East with some early movement. Were they drawn? Yes.
The offense is walking backwards.
Procedure call against the offense.
It looks like Sinagra wants the same play again. See if they actually run it.
The East trying to stop this runaway West offense right now with Sinagra at controls. 1st and 15. Bakru to the boundary. That's where they look, and it's Macho Bakru of the Manitoba Bisons with the bubble screen, and he scampers upfield very close to 13 yards on the carry and catch.
Bakru does a good job getting north and south there up into that funnel that you're trying to create on the receiver screen. Had a nice wedge sort of leading the way for him upfield. One of those guys trying to seal the way. We talked about Ternowski as a receiver, but he gets a nice down block on the corner to allow Bakru to get up through that hole as he follows big Dylan Giffen getting out and showing you can run.
Colton Klassen lowers the boom. Wow, what power still going. Check that at Dion Pellerin. Dion Pellerin of Waterloo with that great run. Hitting the hole, then dropping his shoulder.
That's what they said about Pellerin all week, a physical back that when he gets going downhill is at his best, and clearly right here they get him a seam right down the hash mark, lowering his shoulder, and oh my, look out. A tough guy to meet like that in the open field.
First down West at the 3-yard line of the East. Sinagra marching them once more. Play action, Sinagra to the end zone. Oh, incomplete. There's a flag on the play intended for Brett Ellerman of the Mustangs. He got one hand on it. One sticky hand. Was there contact downfield?
Not quite sticky enough, but almost another highlight reel touchdown from the West squad. And I'm going to guess that that was some sort of pass interference on Ellerman. Looked like he was being tugged there coming across the middle, even though he nearly hauled that ball in.
Yeah, defensive pass interference. They'll move the ball to the 1-yard line. First down West. Pellerin in the backfield, 5-receiver set. Sinagra goes up to his left tackle. Big Dylan Giffen with one final call. They'll hand off. Pellerin takes the ball into the end zone. Touchdown West.
And Mark Surrey was maybe trying to get a little cute there, trying to throw it in on first down. Just goes to the big fella that got him down there. Pellerin into the end zone again.
Let's talk about that big offensive line that Sinagra is working behind. The two tackles are monsters. Dylan Giffen, we just mentioned, from Western at 6'8", 350 pounds at left tackle, and then Nicholas Summick from Saskatchewan at 6'8", 333. They move the ball.
That's right, and they're leading the way. And then you have on the field as well Andrew Becker at center, Carter O'Donnell at the left guard spot, and Coulter Woodmansey from Guelph there, helping to just push and reestablish that line of scrimmage to make it easy for Pellerin to punch it in. What a mammoth offensive line that Sinagra and the running backs have to work behind.
Nico DeFonte with the point after. And the West now with a commanding 35-10 lead here in the fourth quarter.
Just 4 points shy now, that single game record that the West was talking about heading in.
You keep talking about that. Mark Surrey wanted that record. And you're right, he is within 4 points with lots of time left. And Sinagra has just had his way with the East defense.
This looks like the Adam Sinagra that we saw essentially for the entirety of the last U Sports season, except for the little hiccup in the Hardy Cup where he somehow had some baffling interceptions at the time, but he was normally on point, and he's clearly shown that even here at the East-West game on the West squad, that not having a familiar Calgary Dinos target hasn't really hindered his productivity.
He's had that big line. I mean, he's had all kinds of time, unlike Hunter Gennard being harassed here in the second half. There's Trey Kellogg jumping on that bouncing ball on the kickoff just inside his own 30-yard line. He'll maintain possession.
That's tough to do when you got a guy like Caden Johnson running downhill at you, almost getting that football back for the West.
Gennard will stay at quarterback for the East, with Clay Sequeira, who started the game for Toronto, staying on the sideline.
It must be that, as you said, Mark, earlier, that left leg or hip area that Sequeira seems to be stretching out. It's bugging him and potentially keeping him out of the game.
The East in a big hole, down by 25 here in the fourth quarter. Gennard gets a low pass away, and it's complete. And there's the first completion to Jonathan Breton-Robert of Laval Rouge et Or, who was their one of their top receivers last year in the very potent passing offense of Laval in the RSEQ.
Goes down and digs it out for Gennard.
Gain of about 7. Make it 2nd and 3. Gennard gets the ball away quickly. It's complete to Nathan Walker from Bishops, the only player from Bishops, I believe, who was at this East-West game. And it's a first down on that nice little out.
And the East trying to generate a little bit of rhythm here, going into the hurry up, and you saw the first 2 passes from Gennard on the series. Quick passes, getting the ball out in rhythm, very quickly to his receivers. There you see him hitting Walker on the out route, ball placed in the proper spot, get up the field, move the chains, reset here, they're ready to go.
West still rushing 4 on the ground. Nathan Carter, the Carleton Ravens, breaks initial contact, and he'll have a big first down as he's thrown to the turf. Curtis Gray of the Waterloo Warriors making the tackle.
Carter and Wright continue to be pushing away in this run game for the east side, and Carter slipping and breaking tackles yet again. It looked like Michael Reed there was going to have him in the hole, but Carter slips it, and another big gain for the Ravens running back.
First down at the 46 of the West. Gennard throwing to the wide side, and it's complete to his teammate Cordell Hastings. That ball was away before Hastings had made the break. He turned around, it was right there in his hands.
Difficult catch there. It looked like Gennard was throwing that back shoulder fade, and Hastings had to turn all the way around, actually lost sight of the ball for a little bit, picked it back up, and makes the grab for a big gain for the East.
There's an Acadian connection as Gennard to Hastings, and a first down at the 21-yard line. They'll go on the ground. There's Nathan Carter of the Ravens, takes a big hit from Will Amoa as he runs off tackle.
That's Bleska Kabamba again coming downhill and laying a lick. He's been doing that all game long, and if you looked at just his height and his weight, you would never guess he could do that, but he arrives with a physical presence every time, and Nathan Carter just found that out. Carter gets sort of spun around and doesn't see Kabamba coming downhill, but he takes him down with authority.
2nd and 4 in the red zone. Back to Nathan Carter of the Ravens. That long handoff to the short side. It looks like he'll be short.
Carter into the boundary again on the outside zone play. It's going to be 3rd and less than 1. You would imagine Carter stays in the ball game. They maybe stick the ball in his belly again here. Let's see what happens.
Less than a yard. 3rd and less than a yard. Ball at the 12 of the West. Gennard with Carter. Gennard will call a quarterback sneak. He's hit hard. Looked like he lost his footing. Will he have enough?
Just a little bit of a surge there from Gennard. Potentially enough for the first down.
They didn't get it. The West with a big stand at their own 12-yard line. As Hunter Gennard looked like he lost his footing as he went into that sneak and was stopped in his tracks. And so the East will turn the ball over on downs.
Slipped a little bit and didn't really seem to have the momentum to regain it and push forward for the first down. I would have liked them to go to Nathan Carter there, but they don't send Adam Sinegra back out on the field. It's Des Ketelier for the West squad. As we look at this 3rd down play one more time, Gennard just gets stacked up there in the middle. Slips a little bit, as Mark said.
Des Ketelier of the Manitoba Bisons now in the shotgun. Long handoff. No, it's a play action fake, and Ketelier just gets back across the goal line, and he is sacked at his own 1.
Ketelier just gets out of danger there. Almost giving up 2 points to the East in a safety off play action. Running a bit of a naked bootleg here and can't get away from the pressure coming off the edge. Looks like Josh Walsh there. The takedown for Carleton.
2nd and 22 from their goal line. The West, Ketelier in his end zone. Fires it upfield. It's complete to Colton Klassen. A gain of about 13 yards on the play.
Decoy from Montreal on the tackle, and Klassen gets at least some breathing space for the West to be able to punt the ball away.
So the East will get a chance to receive this punt at midfield. time not on their side. 7:27 to go here in the fourth quarter. Down by 25. Unable to move the ball offensively here in the second half. Mark Leggio of the Western Mustangs gets a towering punt to midfield, and it's caught and held onto by, is that Alex Daly of the York Lions?
Flag down on the far side of the field.
So Gennard stays in at quarterback for the East. Clay Sequeira, the U of T quarterback, with his helmet off and on the sidelines here. So clearly banged up in that first half. We saw him favoring his left leg in warm-ups during halftime.
Holding against the East squad on the return. You're going to push them back.
So the East will scrimmage first down at their 43-yard line. Just over 7 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. And there are only 11 players on the field for the East. And now in comes Nathan Carter with a timeout on the field. For the East, with great receiving power in those two Laval receivers, Marc-Antoine Pivin and Jonathan Breton-Robert, really haven't been able to get the ball in those Laval receivers, but once for Breton-Robert.
That's right, and you would have thought too with Cordell Hastings having that connection with Hunter Gennard, being familiar from Acadia and even going back to high school in Calgary, that there might have been a few more exchanges there from quarterback to receiver, but really only the one big catch down the sideline that we saw on the last drive, the back shoulder fade ball that Hastings made a great adjustment on. The only deep connection that we've seen down the field really from anyone on the East offense running the quarterback position.
That was a great catch indeed by Hastings. The ball was away before he'd even made his break, came back to make a big catch. That's his only involvement really through the air. First down, East. Hunter Gennard of Acadia. Good solid pass across the middle, but it's in behind Nathan Walker and incomplete, going in and out of the hands of Will Amoa of the Laurier Golden Hawks.
Amoa knows he dropped one, and Gennard had two in-breaking routes there. Tough to tell who that was intended for. It was either behind Walker or well in front of Kellogg, and Amoa just missed in the near second interception. Already had one earlier in the game in the first half.
2nd and 10 for the East. Gennard under pressure. Gets the ball away out of the backfield, and it's complete to Breton-Robert of Laval. And he's forced out of bounds right at the first down marker.
Gennard makes the read there, sees zone underneath, and Breton-Robert coming on the crossing route, gets it to him and scampers out of bounds, moves the chains for a first down.
Breton-Robert with that big opening catch, that 45-yarder in the Vanier Cup. 2 passes, 91 yards from Hugo Richard, and it was a touchdown for Laval, and they were on their way to that Vanier Cup victory. There's Gennard, gets the ball away quickly, and it's complete to Alex Daly of the York Lions. Be a gain of 6 yards on the play, make it 2nd and 4, just shy of the West 50-yard line. Alex Daly, the number 3 York receiver last year with 332 yards. In behind Colton Hunchak and Eric Kimmerly in the passing game at York. Gennard, hands off, and it is stopped immediately as William Tremblay Arnois is stopped in his tracks for a loss on the play.
You know, we've talked a lot about the West offense, but the West defense has been stout, really only giving up that one touchdown drive and another field goal and limiting this East offense. And what they've also done too is given the West offense some great field position. So West defense been very, very stingy today.
3rd and 8, nothing to lose, and so the East offense stays on the field. 3rd and 8, blitz coming, ball is away, it's in behind and incomplete. Intended for Trey Kellogg.
Flags down on the play, too. It's going to be offside against one of these squads. Pointing at the defense, going to move it up 5.
So life for the East.
Offside against the West.
Look at 3rd and 3 after the 5-yard offside call against the West.
Right down to 3 for the East.
Hunter Gennard with Tremblay Arnois in the backfield. Here comes pressure again. Gennard across the middle. It's complete to Guavlin of the Golden Hawks. He's flying across the field and finally driven out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. The burst of speed, the Laurier receiver.
Gennard sees a Guavin coming across the field on simple underneath crossing route, and then a Guavin turns on the Jets. This is what the Laurier coaches were raving about, and as Mark mentioned earlier, he's just been behind Curly Gittins Jr. and Brenton Hall, 2 all-Canadian type talented receivers, and a Guavin turning on the Jets for a big gain for the East offense, potentially the longest of the day.
1st and goal from the 10 of the West. The East trying to scramble back in this game. A wide pass. It's caught by Trey Kellogg. He makes a great move to beat the tackle of Reggie Sheppy of Alberta. Touchdown East. What an athletic play by the UBC receiver.
That's the old dead leg. Now you see it, now you don't. Kellogg takes it away. Great juke on Sheppy to get into the end zone for 6 from Trey Kellogg, flexing on him a little bit. I see you, young buck, making a play.
Kellogg puts the ball in the end zone on the 10-yard pass from Hunter Gennard. The point after. It's good from Dastu of the Sherbrooke Verteor. It's 35-17.
Get another look at the touchdown. East getting into the end zone thanks to Trey Kellogg. A little juke on Sheppy and beats Willamoa into the end zone. Great move.
Sheppy picking up some personal paraphernalia off the field after that one. Great move by Trey Kellogg. We've talked about him a lot in this game. The son, of course, Jackie Kellogg, the former all-star defensive back for the Calgary Stampeders and Edmonton Eskimos. That'll get the attention of the scouts. We talked off the top of the broadcast about how these young men are entering their 4th year, their senior year, their draft year, as far as professional football goes. And so making a big impression in this game is important as this senior season gets underway. A deep kick. Klassen takes it 3 yards deep, runs into his own blocker, and is felled at the 15-yard line. Looked like he ran into Mitch Raper and was stopped in his tracks. 2 big backs coming together.
And just because the scoreline looks like it's potentially out of reach for the East squad, the entire game's being filmed. And as we talked about off the top, Mark, it's going to be sent around to teams in the pros, NFL, CFL, around North America. So they want to see who's still playing hard and making plays, even though the scoreboard might show that the game has already been decided.
It tells you a lot about the player, doesn't it?
Certainly.
Des Catelier, the Manitoba Bison at quarterback for the West, handing off to Jake Paskus as he barrels his way for some tough earned yards up the gut. A short gain. Is this about getting past 39 points now for the West?
I really think it is, but if Mark Siri was serious about it, I think Adam Sinagra would still be in the game, but let's see what Des Catelier can do here. He probably wants to try to show that he can keep up with Sinagra.
3:45 to go in the 4th quarter. 2nd and 9. Crossing route. It's complete as Kian Schaefer-Baker makes the catch on the pass from Des Catelier, and be close to a first down. It'll be about 1.5 yards shy.
And Catelier, quick ball out to Schaefer-Baker on the slant route, goes up high to bring it down, but he's going to be about two and a half yards short of the first down. Punt unit coming on for the West.
Schaefer Baker's been one of the standouts at receiver for the West here today.
For sure he has. It seems like he's at the point, too, with the Guelph Griffins where he could have a breakout year and really put himself on the radar screens as a top CFL draft pick. And with his size, if he can run well next year when it gets around to the combine situations and a potential pro day, he might even get a look from the NFL.
Mark Leggio's punt caught at the 52-yard line of the East. Returned for a short gain on the play by Justin Julian of St. Mary's University. A good field position for Hunter Gennard and the East just across midfield.
Gennard back out there, probably feeling himself a little bit after coming off that touchdown pass to Trey Kellogg, and Ante Aguavin, though, really set up that drive with a big play on the crossing route, showing that speed, lined up here on the boundary side receiver spot.
Aguavin on the short side in a matchup one-on-one right now with Bleska Kambamba of Western. A couple of OUA rivals. They'll stay on the ground. And a short gain on the play by Dale Wright. Off tackle. A yard, maybe two. 2nd and 9.
The ground game really has been powerful for the East squad. Just hasn't led to enough points in the ball game. They haven't been able to take advantage off the play action passing game as well. So let's see what Gennard comes up with here on 2nd and long.
Gennard steps up. Ball is batted down. Comes right back to Hunter Gennard. He picks it up and runs forward for about 7. He'll be 2 yards shy of the first down. What a heads-up play by the Acadia quarterback.
Might be Hunter Gennard's first career university sports reception. Goes off about 3 or 4 sets of hands, and Gennard says, well, if the ball's going to hang up there, I might as well catch it so it doesn't get picked off, and gains a little bit of yardage, too, to make this 3rd down more manageable.
3rd and 4. Here comes the blitz. Gennard, crossing route. It's complete. Oh, and a huge hit on Ante Aguavin, who stays on the ground, and they're requesting aid from the trainers as Aguavin was flattened on the play. Is that Willamoa who came across?
Looked like potentially Laurier Goldenhawk on Laurier Goldenhawk there.
Boy. Aguavin down on the ground with 2:13 to play.
Gennard Aguavin again on the crossing route. He's actually gotten quickly back up to his feet already.
That looked like Justice Momoka.
That's right, it was number 51 from
Justice
Alberta.
Momoka making the tackle on the play for Alberta. Linebacker. Aguavin is up and looks like he's okay. What a hit. First down, East. 2:13 on the clock. Hunter Gennard going deep down the middle. It's in behind and too high. Intended for the Laval receiver, Jonathan Breton-Robert.
Akatepe almost came down with the pick play in middle field. University of Guelph Griffin defensive back. Might have got a piece of it.
Akatepe led Guelph with 3 interceptions last year, Justin. Had 34 tackles to boot. Guelph had the number 3 pass defense in the OUA. 2nd and 10. Gennard throwing deep down the sidelines for his teammate, and it's intercepted. What a pick by Noah Hallett. Noah Hallett of the Mac Marauders goes up for the football.
Hallett spinning the ball and dancing as he should, man. What an athletic grab. Going against Cordell Hastings, who has quite a height advantage, but Hallett, the difference here, the vertical to go up and get the football. He's got about a 40-inch vertical when he does it in testing. There he out jumps Hastings for the ball, gets 1 foot in bounds. What an interception from the Marauder, flying through the sky.
So Gennard looking to his teammate Hastings, and it's no good, intercepted, and it's first down at the 5 for Des Catelier. and the West comfortably in front, 35-17. There's a little bubble screen to Brenton Hall of the Golden Hawks. And he'll have a gain of about 3 on the play.
That might be Brenton Hall's first catch of the day.
He's one of the most talented receivers in this football game, and they can't get the ball to him.
Yeah, they tried to early on in the game in the first quarter with Sinagra on a couple consecutive plays, but there he finally gets his hands on the football for the first time.
That being said, there are so many talented receivers on this west side with Schaefer Baker, Hall, Bachrud, Turnowski. McCracken's been solid with those big first down catches in traffic.
A lot of guys to try to feed and keep happy on that west side in the receiving corps.
I didn't catch the penalty, but they're taking it back to the 2-yard line. Like a procedure on the play, so it's 1st and 15. They'll go to Caden Johnson, the York running back, and he is stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Nowhere to go for the fleet-footed big man who carries the leather for York. Make it 2nd and 12 as Turnowski comes into the game. Turnowski with that second half touchdown catch from Sinagra. 1:35 and counting here in the fourth quarter. Des Catelier in his end zone, downfield, and it's complete. Tyler Turnowski goes up for the football, has a gain of 15 and a West first down.
That just looks effortless from Turnowski to be able to go and pluck that football out of the air. Catelier trusting Turnowski's going to go up and get it, and he does across the middle of the field with a couple defenders in the area too. No fear.
Back downfield, a jump ball on that deep pass, and it's a great pick on the play.
Decoy making the play from the University of Montreal, showing his vertical. He's got some ability to go up in the sky and pick it out.
He's got some choreographed celebration over there. Marc-Antoine Decoy of the University of Montreal showing his athletic ability. Tested so well here on Monday.
Take another look, spotting that football, catching it at its highest point. Brenton Hall couldn't quite stop himself to come back to it. Ball underthrown, and Decoy takes advantage for the pick.
Defensive Player of the Year in Quebec makes a big play on defense. Ball is away and incomplete from Hunter Gennard. Looking for Trey Kellogg, was behind him, and Kellogg lost his footing trying to come back to the ball.
There was a window in that zone that clearly Gennard saw. He just couldn't spot the football exactly where he wanted to Kellogg, and that caused the incompletion.
2nd and 10 for the East at the 52 of the West. 1:10 left on the clock. Hunter Gennard facing pressure, stays in the pocket. His pass is tipped. We've seen 2 or 3 of those balls batted down, and Gennard has a bit of a low release to his passing motion.
That's right. And we saw the last one that got tipped and knocked around, came right back into his hand. So that's 2 in the last 2 series for Gennard. Got to get it up just a little bit. Make sure it's over your offensive lineman and around or over the defensive linemen who are putting their hands up.
With the outcome academic, 3rd and 10, the East offense stays on the field. Quick movement on the defensive side of the ball. And the West defense is pointing at motion from the East, and indeed it is a procedure call against the East. So they'll move it back 5 and make it 3rd and 15. Unfortunate part is that ball was away quickly, and Kellogg was wide open on the wide side.
Gennard saw it early. All for naught.
3rd and 15. 1:05 to play. Hunter Gennard has time, comes to the wide side. It's complete to Breton Robert of Laval Rougeor, and he slips a tackle and is forced out of bounds right at the first down marker, about the 42-yard line. We'll see where they put it.
Yeah, Godard getting it out to Breton Robert in the flat, a long, wide field throw, and Breton Robert doing a good job of spinning back around, catching it as he's going up the field with his momentum, and going to step out right around that 43, 42-yard area. And spot it short of the first down. Turnover on downs for the East.
So close. I mean, he picked up an extra 4 yards after initial contact there, but not quite enough for the first down on that 3rd and 15 situation. Final minute of the football game. The West mopping up with Des Catelier of the Manitoba Bisons at quarterback. Handing off to Jake Puskas of the Queens Gales, and he moves the pile for what looks like 11 yards and a first down.
West can start to enjoy this victory a little bit as Puskas piling it on. Dion Pellerin coming into the game for Puskas now at the running back position. Clock ticking down, under 50 seconds to go.
It was a close football game at the half with 14-10 West, and then the East unable to respond to that explosion of offense directed by Adam Sinagra of the West quarterback in the second half. On the ground, Colton Klassen running free through traffic and finally escorted out of bounds. Check that, Dion Pellerin. I keep getting him confused with Klassen, but Pellerin, who's had a heck of a game for Waterloo at running back here for the West.
A couple of touchdown runs, and so tough to bring down when he gets rolling downhill just like this. Little power play, kick out, and up the hole goes Pellerin. Showing off the physicality, a couple touchdown runs today, and trying to run out the clock here for the West.
Pellerin at running back and Trey Ford at quarterback. Waterloo giving teams fits on the ground. There's a big tackle on the helmet coming right off Brenton Hall as he is clotheslined on that bubble screen, and there's a flag on the play.
It's always scary when the helmet pops off, but Brenton Hall just fine after getting taken down kind of wildly on the receiver screen. And get another look at it. It's kind of scary for the Laurier Golden Hawks. You want your guys to get out of here clean, especially when your top playmaker is going into his 4th season.
Well, Glavwin got hit hard earlier.
That's right.
Now Brenton Hall, 15-yard penalty.
And we got 22 seconds on the clock inside the 25-yard line. A chance to break the record here, Mark. I'm sure Mark Surias thinking about it.
The record is 39 points in the East-West game. They stay on the ground. Pellerin fumbles the football. There's a scramble. Looks like the East may have gotten on it. They're signaling they've recovered the football. And it is East ball.
It's Decoy.
And it is Decoy of Montreal with a second turnover here in the 4th quarter.
Just seems to find the football all day long. He's been around it, had a knockdown as well too, an interception and a pick. Puts a stamp on a great week for the Montreal Carabins defensive back.
Decoy led Montreal with 4 interceptions last season, 2 fumble recoveries. He's had a pick and a fumble recovery here today.
And Pellerin looked like he was free and clear up to the 3rd level. Breaks a tackle there, but the ball looks like it was ripped out by number 45 on the East, Adam Auclair, the All-Canadian from a year ago at the Sam linebacker position.
Finally get to call Auclair's number. Deep in their own zone, the East will stay on the ground. It's the pint-size fire hydrant, William Tremblay-Arnois, who carries the ball up to the 15-yard line and a first down.
And we should say Auclair ripped that fumble out. His brother, Anthony Auclair, who's a tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in attendance here. A little bit of off time from all the hours he puts in the NFL. Been with the Bucs now for 2 seasons. And in attendance watching, and you get a look at these two. And Auclair, the brother, the older one, Anthony, obviously well-built, and Adam as well, both standouts at the U Sports level. And Auclair looking to do like his brother and potentially play some pro football.
Final play of the football game as Tremblay-Arnois is wrestled to the turf. The West dominating here this afternoon with a 35-17 victory and running away with this football game in the second half. And you mentioned the Auclair brothers. Anthony at 6'6", he's up to 270 now. just
Massive.
a monster as a tight end. And Adam started his career also as a receiver, being converted now to defense. And he's another one to keep your eye on as these seniors, these youth sport athletes heading into their 4th year, put on a show here today for the Scouts as they go into their draft year in Canadian University football.
But the story of the game really had to be Adam Sinagra and that West offense and what he was able to do in the 3rd quarter. We saw Des Catelier and Macho Bakru, the Manitoba Bison's connection put the West up just before the half with that great touchdown connection, but then it was Sinagra took over in that 3rd quarter, slicing and dicing, getting them out to a lead that they would never relinquish.
When we looked at the rosters before this game began, we looked at that offensive line that Sinagra had for the West with Giffen and Sumac at 6'8" on the tackles, and then you had O'Donnell, Becker, and Woodmansey through the middle. I mean, Sinagra had all kinds of time. When they ran the ball, they just pounded it on the East. And it was indeed Sinagra finding his groove in the second half to turn this football game in West's favor.
That's right. They were really able to keep that East defense off balance. As you said, there was a quick strike right off the first play of the game, Sinagra to Kean Schaefer-Baker, and that sort of set the tone. And then from there, they were able to roll up 35 points.
There's the ceremonial handshake. Look at the coaches. There's so many coaches here. It looks like another team on the field as the coaches go through the handshakes. A great fraternity here, Justin, all week at Carleton University.
It really has been all about football and Canadian talent coming together and making each other better. And as we talked about off the top, we saw all the CFL scouts here. There was CFL coaches from Nick Lewis to JC Sherritt. And then, of course, the best of the best in Canadian University football from a coaching standpoint, and the players who put on a great show today.
You know, Sinagra, who lost that Hardy Cup in that upset loss to Saskatchewan last year, coming back to his draft year, you know how competitive he is, how much he believes that he could be a quarterback in the CFL, not just a Canadian quarterback. And on that note, there are a lot of Canadian athletes on this football here today that we heard an American pro coach say if they were Americans, they might be looked at differently, that they might be looked at in a better light because they were American. What do you make of that?
I hope one day we can get past that bit of prejudice and that at positions other than, let's say, what's been traditional and most notably the offensive line where Canadians play, that if the Canadians get the same opportunity that the Americans who come north and play our great game do, can be productive. And it's been shown in the game right now. Andrew Harris is without a doubt the best running back in the CFL, and he's Canadian, but the Winnipeg Blue Bombers or the BC Lions before him that gave him an opportunity didn't look at him that way. They just let him develop and earn the opportunity. So the same could be said for all of these players out here. If they get that same chance to develop a little bit and grow, they can be just as good as the Americans.
What about a quarterback? I mean, Mike O'Connor, 3rd-round pick this year in the CFL draft. Now Sinagra is sort of the next one. Many think he's a better quarterback than O'Connor. Are we going to see a Canadian make it on his own, or is there going to have to be a Canadian quarterback position in the CFL?
Well, we're seeing it a little bit with Brandon Bridge and what he's been able to do and carve out a career for himself in the CFL. The difference with, as you touched on, Michael O'Connor, is that he was, for the most part, playing his university football in Canada. Went to prep school at IMG, spent some time at Penn State, but the 4 years that he played in university were at UBC. So it'd be nice without that rule for Canadian quarterbacks to get an opportunity. It does seem like the rule is going to change in the new collective bargaining agreement in the CFL. But let's just look at these Canadian quarterbacks, as I said, with all the other players, as quarterbacks, because they're just as good, if not better, and they've been playing the Canadian game on the wider field with 12 players their entire life.
This has been going on for decades, the conversations about Canadian quarterbacks in the CFL.
And you can see right from this game here, it's a direct link to players who get picked in the CFL draft. 3 first-round picks, 5 second-round picks, 5 third-round picks. The only other players in those rounds that were selected were Canadian players that were NCAA trained. So it shows you that players come right from the U Sports East-West Bowl, the start of the draft process, and get selected. And you can look at one that stands out most, Matthew Betts, the Laval University defensive end, who's now signed a contract with the Chicago Bears. Came out of this game last year, was one of the defensive standouts, returned a fumble for a touchdown. The big man got to the house, and now he's applying for a job in the NFL.
You got Robbie Smith, the Golden Hawk, rush in, getting some tryouts in the NFL with Buffalo and New York Giants. I mean, there's another kid who's a great athlete, you know, who deserves a shot.
That's right, definitely. He was a second-round pick by the Toronto Argonauts, so for sure is going to get an opportunity in the CFL. But more and more we see Canadian prospects getting NFL rookie minicamp invites and signing contracts and even getting drafted. And there was one player that didn't take the field today, Cattell S.A., an offensive lineman from Laval University that was measured at the Laval Pro Day when they were checking out Matthew Betts this year. There were 5 NFL teams there, and they saw Cattell S.A. off to the side and said, hey, who's that guy? Glen Constantin. Can we measure him to get him on the radar? So even though he didn't play in the game today, he's going into his draft year, and he's a guy that people are already talking about as being an NFL draft pick.
It's Greg Marshall, the Mustangs head coach and head coach of the victorious West side here today. I guess a small measure of revenge after losing the Vanier Cup to Glen Constantin, the Laval head coach and the head man of the East last year at Laval. What a great coaching career Greg Marshall has had with his first Vanier Cup win in 2017, 6 Yates Cups as a head coach with Western, and 4 in a row with Mac. There's a great history of coaching these young men, and we know Western will be loaded for bear again this year.
That's right, and if you're Greg Marshall, you may be hoping that you get your quarterback Chris Merchant back, and they're going to add a dynamic presence to the backfield. And Jonathan Femi Cole, a University of Minnesota transfer from St. Andrews College out in Aurora, that is an absolute tank. Even when he was in grade 10 and 11, I was hearing about him at St. Andrews College. So the Western Mustangs will be loaded in the backfield again.
There's the scene on the field here at MNP Park in Ottawa as the players meet with their families and friends and the coaches mix, and this is the fraternity of football. We've seen it all week as these outstanding athletes from across Canada in Canadian University football have come together in this annual East-West Bowl. The next step is getting through the summer and then training camp. And in the OUA this year, training camps are going to be a week shorter, which is going to put all of the coaches and players under pressure with 10 days to get ready for the regular season. That's right, a little different, and you won't be able to have an exhibition game or maybe even scrimmage against another team because you're going to have to be so focused on getting ready for that first game. The one team that's going to be all right coming out of the gate is the Ottawa GGs because they have the bye week in the first week, and Glen Constantin was actually telling me that he was trying to convince the GGs to come and play Laval in the preseason game. That won't happen because Jamie Barisi wants his team to be healthy for when they start the regular season in week 2 in the OUA, but it's definitely going to be a challenge for the rest of the teams in Ontario. And it was explained to me that this shortening of training camp has more to do with financial considerations. Is that about trying to even the playing field? It definitely could be. You know, but it's going to put pressure on the coaches and players, no question about it. It's been a great week here in Ottawa and a gorgeous day here today for spring football as the West defeats the East by a score of 35-17 in the 2019 East-West Bowl. For Justin Dunk, Marshall Ferguson, and our entire broadcasting team here in Ottawa, I'm Mark Lee saying thanks for watching and so long from the nation's capital.